Mike Mishler is an award-winning photographer. He's won Best in Michigan. These are just a few of the ones he's won. Best in Michigan, Best in the Sunrise State. He's won the Mayor's Award in Tawas twice. He's done Best in Show in Holly. He's done People's Choice twice for Sault Ste. Marie. And plus that, he currently works as an EMT for MedStar, and he's a firefighter full-time for the city of Holly. I think Holly, or
Yeah,
the city, not
village. Yeah, not a township.
I live in the township, so we have our own fire.
Right.
So that's why. But Mike, thank you. Thank
No
you.
problem. I won't stay stand up the whole time because I block very badly. So I want to thank everybody for having me here. Tonight's going to be kind of fly by the seat of my pants night because I always forget something at art shows and what I do. Tonight, what I forgot was my flash drive and I forgot my business cards. So we had to go through and we had to put a flash drive together, which caused me to forget the Ojibwe. I already mentioned that, and a couple other pictures. I apologize. So we're just going to kind of go through the pictures. I'm going to talk about it a little bit. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I see there's other photographers like Todd out here and other people that are take just amazing pictures, and other people I haven't mentioned. Todd here makes me jealous all the time, not gonna lie. And now he's learned how to fly his drone, and I gotta learn to fly mine now just because of it. I have a drone, but I haven't used it yet. So basically, in my travels, people always ask me what Lyncat photography means. Lyncat, I have two daughters, Autumn and Linnea. Linnea, when she was a baby, would go, "I love cats, Dad. I'm a Lyncat." So I took it. Now my daughter's 22 and she hates the name. So I can't win for losing. So the name stands. So the other person that helps me with this voyage in a sense is my daughter Autumn. She's a graphic designer in the city of New York. She went to the New York School of Arts. I'm computer dumb. She's computer smart. That's basically the way to say it. I use her because I'm an old dumpy man and I need the fresh look and the fresh face of what my art's going to be in the end, and she does that for me. So this year, if you do come to my art shows, you'll see a little different setup. My daughter wanted to be set up like a record store, so I've been grabbing old crates, and you can go through and look like you're looking for old vinyls. That's what my daughter wants, and we're going to do it. So I just want something new. So basically, we're just going to cover the ship. The pictures aren't in order. I apologize, we did this at the last minute, so if I jump topics, I apologize, but we're gonna cover my Saginaw River pictures. I have the fortunate opportunity every fall or every winter layup to tour the Toledo shipyards. I get to go on all the Great Lakes Fleet ships only. So I've been on the Spear, the Gott, I've been on the Arthur M. Anderson, the Philip Clark, and the Great Republic. I have pieces of my art in the galley of the Great Republic, in the engine room of the Arthur M. Anderson, and I'm not sure where it went in the Clark yet, but I'm working on the Spear and the Gott for next year. So I'm going to show you a couple pictures that I got on the Anderson this year. I've been on it twice. An amazing ship. You walk on it and you can just feel the history just pour in, and you're sitting on the bridge and you're going, Fitzgerald's just out there a couple miles, 11 miles or whatever it was, and oh my goodness, So I'm going to show you some of those pictures. Basically, I'm probably not going to be as good as Rick Mixture, I'm not going to lie. Rick Mixture does an amazing show, but I'll try to be as funny. I'm not as good looking for sure, but I'll try to be as funny. So, but let's start the show. So, like I said, you'll see pictures on board the Anderson, but we're going to jump around because I kind of loaded them at the last minute. So, basically, this is what it looks like at the shipyards this year. You got the Anderson right next to the Clark. And then that yellow conveyor, the yellow thing right there, the yellow gangway is how you walked in it. And then I jumped to Grand Haven. So this is one of my newest prints for this year. This is, of course, the Grand Haven and Gales in November at sunset. Basically, we're just going to go through these pictures and I'll give you a heads up. Some got stories behind them. So this is on the Saginaw River. This is going to be the Olive Moor and the Menominee, correct? I think so. And of course we jump back to, I'm sorry, these aren't in order. I had them in order perfectly. So Grand Haven this year. Just the power standing here, and if you ever, I don't know if Todd's been out there, anybody, the photographers, you ever been out there during one of these windstorms, you're going to go home with a mouth full of sand, eyes full of sand, and I usually use my truck as a tripod because the wind is just unbearable sometimes, and so you'll have a truck full of sand too. So this is going to be the Roger Blau, and this is going to be one of the last shots before it had its little fire and has been in dry dock ever since. Of course, I'm going to plug the depot a little bit. I belong to the Holly Union Depot, Save the Depot Fund. We're trying to move the depot. So I want to show you some of my train pictures. I have a couple of them. The reason why this is important with Saginaw too is because Lake State comes right by our depot from Saginaw Bay City. So if you see them in Saginaw coming this way, we see them in Holly. So, and Lake State's a wonderful company. It's been very supportive of our depot. And of course, X marks the spot here on the Saginaw River. At least it looks like an X to me. Just amazing the shots you can get on the river with the reflection and everything else.
Which further was that?
That is the Olive Morgan with the Menominee.
Is that 1,000 footer?
So, no, that's just, how big is the, I don't even know. Yeah, it's just like a 500-600 foot. That's just a tug and barge. So this story comes with a story. I know we're in church. I'm not the best religious guy, but so this is the Charlevoix Lighthouse, and this is the Algoma Transport in the background. I drove over here after once, and my mother, who is very much the most wonderful person in the world, her father, which was my grandfather, died many years ago. His name was Walton Erickson. He named a library after him in Morley, Michigan. If you ever drive by the Morley Stanwood Schools, the library is named after him, Walton Erickson. So my mom called and said, hey, you know, where are you going? I said, well, I'm going to Charlevoix. And she says, you know, Grandpa's library called and wants to honor you as his grandson or whatever else, and you show your pictures. And I said, that's great. And, you know, my mom cries, and it makes me cry. And so we get to the lighthouse, and as I'm on this pier, an elderly gentleman approaches me in a leather coat, long leather coat. And he says to me, you know, hey, what are you doing? And I said, I'm taking a picture. And he goes, are you leaving? And I said, no. And he goes, because your best work's yet to come. And I said, oh, okay. And I said, well, that's nice of you. Thank you. And he goes, and he said to me, he touched my arm, and he goes, your grandfather would be really proud of you. And keep snapping her. So I don't remember the rest he said. I was really mad at my mom. I thought my mom sent this guy out here to give me, I don't know why I was mad at my mom, but I was like, God, of all the topics, you know, it's my grandfather. So I went to this pier. I was on the other pier. I went to this pier, looked back, and the guy wasn't on the dock anymore. And so I took what I got. He was right. My best work is yet to come. This is what I got, this amazing picture. So I called my mom on the way home, and I said, Mom, I don't know what your problem is. I appreciate you and love you, but why did you send that old man out there to tell me, you know, Grandpa's proud of me and everything else? And she starts crying, and I don't know what you're talking about, and she hung up the phone. And I was like, my mom's never hung up on me a day in my life. So long story short, she called me back a little bit later, and she goes, I'm just going to say this. I'm going to say it really quick. I think you were visited. So have a good night. And she hung up the phone. So we talked about it later, and she didn't do it, and I don't know, maybe it's true. It sounds nice, so I like that. I like the story. So yes, it all happens for a reason. It's very beautiful. So back to the Anderson. So this is from the pilot house. This is from the pilot. I gotta use this. This is from the pilot house, looking aft, back toward the crane and everything else. I'm not allowed to show any pictures of staff or any of the workers, so you won't see any of that on here. Another thing is, I have pictures of the St. Clair when it burnt. I'm not allowed to show those pictures either. So that's a big no-no with them guys for some reason. So we know this picture. So I really thought I was doing another story with Todd here. Todd's on this boat, on this tugboat. He does an awesome job. I really thought I was doing a great picture for Todd, and it ended up not being such a great picture. So I ended up, this isn't the picture that I shared, but it's similar. But I was like, hey, I get to see Todd in action. This is awesome. But this is the Melissa being pushed by, what is your tug? The Manitou? Yeah, Manitou. That's right there in Essexville. Yeah, right there. Sorry for the not in a row. And back on the Anderson. So here we are, I'm on the deck looking back at the pilot house. And then Arthur M. Anderson, that's just what it looks like with one of its cargo holds opened. And then X marks the spot over the pilot house. And then I don't know who that guy is, but you know, I always gets in my pictures sometimes. So I like this picture because this is the Herbert Jackson. I call him the Herbie. This is once again in Essexville. Once again, I have to thank Todd because Todd taught me this little sweet spot to take pictures I never knew of, and it's the Smith Park. But that's him coming around the corner by the Pier Marquette, no, was it Pier Marquette? No, it's a Lake State Bridge. Yeah, Lake State Rail Bridge in the background. So I love fall color pictures. All right, back to the Anderson. So this is the engine room. So I love it. I love the American flag, and it's the old steam engines, and you know, it's just like I said, just amazing the power, just the history behind the ship. All right, so this is my worst picture ever. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. So the sun, if you can see it, I didn't know this at the time, but that was going to be the half partial eclipse. And I had the perfect vantage point to get the picture. And while I was standing on the drawbridge, and I'm not sure if you're not supposed to stand on that drawbridge, but I was because I love getting that shot, I was shooed away by a police officer. And I was a little upset, and I went back to my car with my tail between my legs, and I got to the center of the bridge, and that was perfectly over the Hudson with the eclipse, and I went, oh! So I'm gonna do a looky-loo thing like firefighters can't stand, I can tell you. I stopped in the middle of the bridge to take the picture as a semi was behind me, and the semi, and so then I didn't get my picture still, so I got the other side of the bridge, and fog set in, and I couldn't come back and get the picture. So this probably won't happen in my lifetime ever again, and it's a pretty picture, but it's my worst picture of the day. So, but you can kind of see it, I mean, if you look. So, St. Joseph Lighthouse, for you Star Wars fans, if you look at the door right here, it looks like Han Solo was frozen in. You can see the head, the shoulder, and the leg. Looks like he was dancing when he got frozen. I got somebody to tell me that. It looks like he was dancing when it was frozen. You know, that's the Great Lakes. They always say Lake Michigan lighthouses have the beard. So you can see the beard right there. It's the old man beard that the frozen part does. Palomino, I believe. No, I don't know what the name of this one. Armamino? Eclipso. It's one of the, they're literally in the fan blades across from Essexville right there. For the big windmills out there that do the power stuff. Somebody's tugboat. I love the shot because of the sunrise. I always love reflection pictures, I'm not going to lie. So we're back with the Cougar, or the Menominee and the Olive Moor. You know, these guys out here at the dirt docks out here, I think that's the word, dirt docker. So as long as you ask them, stone dock, yeah, as long as you ask them, they're pretty fair, as long as you stay out everybody's way to let you take a picture. So this is one of my pictures I took with my daughter when she was here from New York, and I've won an award for this picture. This is the Mackinac, in the Straits of Mackinac, headed to the Mackinac Bridge at sunset. So we both took this picture, and this picture actually is in the Know Your Ships book. This picture is in the Know Your Ships book. I know I trailed off, sorry. So there again with the Edson. Edson's always a perfect backdrop. USS Edson, I love that ship. I did a tour of that boat one time, and this gentleman who was doing the tour kept telling me that John Wade sat in this chair, and I'd sit in the chair, and then he would say, I'm just messing with you, get up, you know. He would never, I never did find out where John Wade sat in this boat, but so I visited the Saginaw Range one time, and this is what I got, and that's of course my favorite tug and barge, I guess, the Menominee and the Olive Moor in the background. But I just love the way, you know, I've only seen this once. This is an amazing lighthouse. I'm going to try to get out there again and get a sunset or sunrise picture of it. 1225, the Polar Express, little steamy engine one. The Alpina, and back in Saginaw, and the Alpina at sunrise. Another reflection picture of the Herbert Jackson at sunset. How about Tawas? I've won a picture, not for this picture per se, but Tawas has definitely been an award winner for me. I have several pictures. One thing to know about Tawas is they no longer light the lighthouse except for a little LED light and a light way out at the end. But I have pictures when the light was still lit, and it's an amazing, you know, I love those pictures because they're now rare because they won't ever light that light again. This one's in the Interlake calendar for this year for all the ships. This is the Herbert Jackson at sunrise. And this is one of those pictures where I didn't think it was the best picture and everybody else did, so. Edson. This is one of my favorite of the Cougar, I keep saying Cougar, the Olive Moor and the Menominee. I was coming back on an ambulance call, and I worked for Charlevoix EMS, saw it on AIS, drove down there, and this is the picture I got on the way back up. The Algoma Innovator right there at Wirt. Is it Wirt Dock over there? I think it's the Wirt. Essexville Wirt. Back on the Anderson. Here we are in the pilot house. And that White Shoal with the now retired and scrapped Algoma, or Captain Henry Jackman. You guys ever do this tour at Shepler's tour for Lighthouse at sunset? This is what you get. It's well worth the money. But no, if it's 100 degrees on the outside, wear your jacket because it'll be 40 degrees on the water. My wife found it out the hard way. She was like, no, it can't be that. So there is Saginaw Range. This is one of my ones I've won an award for. So I told Todd, somebody else, that I had a drone, but I really didn't. I stopped on the Milwaukee Bridge. Any state troopers in the room? It was a long time ago, during COVID. So, yeah. So I was in the middle of coming back from Charlevoix, and it was during COVID, and we have to do a stress debriefing because of COVID every week. And the only time they did it was I was driving back home, so I had to do it on my truck. So I knew the ship was going to be there, and so when I pulled up, I got out, and I was on. They had turned me off, so they couldn't hear me because my truck had a vibration. So one of the guys, I think his name is Dana, a friend of mine, he said, "Oh, you're on the bridge? Let me give you a salute." So he saluted me as they turned on the mic and my windows were down. So all they heard was, so I got back on it, it was all quiet. I'm like, did they hang up? What did I miss? They're like, "Were you chasing freighters?" I'm like, yes, sorry. So this is one of my favorites. That's the American Mariner in the background, and the Chahoga there, and coming into Essexville. Back on the Anderson. That's me. That's that guy again that keeps following me around. I don't know who he is. So that gives you an idea of kind of what the pilot house looks like. So the Great Lakes National Cemetery. I take a lot of pictures out here for the soldiers that are buried out there, for the families. So this is one that was in the Detroit Free Press, and I actually won an award for with the cross in it. This was during the Great Reefs of America, and this is a beautiful place. If you've never visited, this is the Michigan Arlington. It's about 5 miles from my house. It's very beautiful. The animals cannot be touched, so you'll see deer, eagles, anything you can imagine. These animals they have what are those tall sand cranes, and they fly over. I always call it the Michigan flyover. So I just want to throw that in there because I do this kind of photography too.
Is that sunrise?
Sunrise, yes, sunrise. Yep. So how do we hide the biggest ship in the Great Lakes, the Paul Digger in the fog? There you go. So I took a little cruise with a guy named Sean Riley, who was a captain of the Sulaks boat tour, and he decided one day that he was going to disobey what his boss told him, and we're going to follow ships in the fog. So there's the first one, and I've followed many more. We actually sat in the Sioux Harbor by Algoma Steel, and the Chahoga and the Saginaw, one was backing up and one was going forward, and there was an excavator going beep, 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 and I said, "Look, the freighter has a backup alarm." And everybody was like, "Really?" And you couldn't see him, it was all fog. So back in the Anderson, this is the captain's quarters. So this is right after he was stuck on that sandbar by the train bridge. I missed him being stuck, but this is him. This is the Calumet coming underneath that bridge that's up right now. Liberty Bridge? Liberty. It was Liberty Bridge, yep. So this is a new picture for me. This was this year in dry dock. This is the Great Republic. He's getting a thruster worked on, so they have to take him out. I can't imagine how I'm excited about this picture. This is Toledo again. This is Toledo, yep. Right down there by where the Manistee was parked, just above it. So in my career, I know this is not the best picture, but I actually caught a comet in a lighthouse, and that is the Norwes comet. And so I know it's not the best picture. I didn't have the best camera with me. This was during COVID, and that is the Charlevoix. That is the Charlevoix. I'm sorry, I keep moving the mic. That is the Charlevoix lighthouse. Frankfurt Lighthouse. So this is one of my first pictures. So to give you a little exciting story on this, I had like one light left on my battery. It was a downpour rain, and I was waiting for the Wilfred Sykes to come through. So I'm this way looking at the Sykes, and it was raining, and this lady's taking a picture to my right, and I'm like, why is she taking a picture to the right? And I look, and there's a rainbow. So I'm like, oh. So I'm like, Sykes, rainbow, Sykes, rainbow, Sykes, rainbow. But yeah, my mother loves this picture. This is one of her favorite. And I love it too. So this year with Alpina's new paint scheme, this is the Hollyhock, and with the Alpina coming through the ice in St. Clair. This is right above this is right below Marysville, right above St. Clair in the ice. This is also one of my new ones this year. This is Ludington at sunrise or sunset.
When was that?
That was in January, or I think it was January, yeah. So once again, we got the Herbert Jackson coming through. What's the bridge over here? Not Liberty, but what's this one? Vents? Okay. Vents Bridge. I will learn them. Yeah. I'm not sure what the lights are doing. This is one of those pictures that I didn't like, but everybody else is like, it's amazing. I'm a very horrible critic on myself. So this is when you work MedStar Bay City and your partner's cool with you going to look at stuff. We just take the ambulance over and we're not doing anything and take pictures. So I love reflection pictures, as you can tell. The Manitou, I don't know if you can see it in this one, right in the background, that's the Manitou, Manitou. He's following him out of the river. I think this is when he was stuck in the river for a little bit because of rising river levels, and he finally got let loose. I believe this is the Algoma Buffalo. Used to be just the Buffalo. American Mariner, and this is right next to Essexville. Actually, it's right just past the cement plant, just before Smith's Park. Like being in Smith's Park, you had the boom mic right over your head. It was amazing. It was very cool. I'm not gonna lie. So I want to plug the Holly Depot again. Like I said, Lake State comes right by us. Lake State's the easiest train to catch, I'm not gonna lie. They're the slowest. They can only do 15 around that depot. Right behind the depot this way is a diamond that's about 100 years old, and it's the oldest diamond. I think it's more than 100. It's the oldest diamond in Michigan, and that's the reason why they want us to remove the depot, is because they want to replace all that diamond and everything else and make it more customer friendly. And back on the Anderson, looking back at the Clark from the pilot house. So, and that is all the pictures I got to show. Anybody have any questions? We can.
I know you were saying that you were going to Smith Park and taking a lot of those. Some of those other ones you're on a boat, I assume, right?
No, I have a long lens, and I have a telescoping lens. Usually it's in Saginaw. I've never been on the boat. I'm going to go on his boat when he does the tour boat or whatever, that Winona. So I'm going to try to do that. But I'm on land. Yeah, I have a big, huge telescoping lens. I know I get a lot of front end pictures in Port Huron, and where they're coming right at you. People are like, "Oh my God, were you in a rowboat?" And they're coming. I'm like, "Nope, literally was on land under the bridge with my long lens." My long lens will go to about 625, 700, 750, I think, distance. So I get it like right in your face. So, any other questions? Good.
I got a propulsion question. I had a lucky privilege to spend a week on the PRT a couple of years ago.
Nice.
And I was looking at the Great Republic, and they have like tunnel props on that. Mm-hmm. Is that really common on the 1,000-footers?
I'm not sure if the Paul has those, because I've never been underneath it, but I know those, they help them turn better. It's like, I think they rotate is what I think that's what he was telling me. I think they got a rotation to them, so they're able to come in a little bit closer. I'm not sure what the Paul, I've never been under the Paul, so I couldn't tell you. So, but yeah, I think that's common for like the Great Republic, and I know some of the Algoma boats have one instead of two.
The Republic, that ship was built to operate backwards.
Is it? Okay, so there's your question. Yeah, I did not know that. I did not know that, so.
It's got different prop systems, I can't remember the details, but
Okay.
just go up the Cuyahoga River and just go back down.
Yeah,
Turning around.
that is true now I think about it, yep. So I'm knowledgeable to a point on a lot of the freighters. I'm still learning a lot, and there's a lot I can learn, and so I'll answer your questions as best I can when it comes to it. People ask me all the time what started me into photography. It was my grandfather. Grandfather was huge on teaching us the Anderson and the Fitzgerald and all that history, and just started from there. And like I said on the radio show, which that was the most nervous point in my life, was that radio show. I was tired of buying other people's pictures, so I figured I'd take my own. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I love photography, and being EMS and fire department, photography is a release for me. If I have a bad call, I carry a camera in the ambulance with me, and if I have a bad call and dispatch sends us down to Detroit or something, they know, hey, let Mike go down by the river, see what he can see. Bad calls happen to us all the time. Could be from an elderly person, something happens, to I had a child neglect call last couple months ago that was just horrible. I can't even begin to tell you. This is my 35th year being a fireman EMT, and It never changes, honestly. It's just, I always think to myself, I've seen it all, and then, no, I have not. Something else changes my mind. But, so I use it as instead of going to a counselor, it's so much easier for me just to drive to Grand Haven or drive before sunset and just sit there for a couple hours and just watch the sun come down and just have a Wusan moment in a sense, or a Zen moment, or whatever you want, whatever moment you want, but it helps me, so.
Hey, Mike, Captain Summer here.
What's up, Cap?
It's really good to see you.
No, it's good to see you
I'm
too.
so excited to hear that you were going to speak because this last 2 years has been awesome.
Right.
And I watched some of your pictures on boat nerds, and I'm saying, holy smokes, Mike Mishler is really, an incredible, iconic visionary here.
Thank you.
So thank you very much. You're kind of like at a point in your career where there's a book in your future.
Right.
Has that crossed your horizon here recently?
You mean toward fire or toward photography? Photography, yes.
Well, I haven't seen any of these pictures previously, even though I save a lot of your pictures and post up on Facebook.
Okay.
I actually have like a whole collection of those.
Well, thank you.
Like Mishler stuff, except there's no words to
Yeah, no problem. Yes, my daughter and I have been talking about a tabletop picture, or a table, whatever you call them, coffee table book. I'm having a moment. Coffee table book. Maybe my sunrises and sunsets with some of the freighters and what I've seen. I mean, I can't begin to tell you how many pictures I've taken. I mean, when they contacted me to do this lecture, I have 1 million pictures easy on one setting just for me to go take a picture. I mean, you can vouch for it. You're probably at the bare minimum 400 pictures. And I'm going, snap, snap, snap. Nope, I didn't like that. Snap, snap, snap. Well, that looks good. Snap, 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 snap. My wife won't even go with me anymore because she's like, God, it's just all day long. And then we're driving back and forth chasing the boats, and Sue, and she's like, can I just stay at the hotel? So a little funny story about my wife. She's a germaphobe and wonderful. I love her very much. And we were at Sturgeon Point Lighthouse, and she sat down and we're sitting there and she says, I keep hearing something. And I'm taking a picture. I'm like, what are you hearing? I think it's a bear. And I'm like, a bear? And she goes, yes. And I said, okay. And she goes, like Yogi, he's over here shaking the trash cans for food. And I said, okay. So she got all paranoid about it. And I said, well, why don't you go back to the car? She goes, and be the meal? No, you first. And then, and then I'll follow. So the funny part is we got out to the end of the road and there was 2 puppy dogs and they were shaking the fence and I think they knew. I don't know, it was funny. So I saw it, she didn't, so I just kept it with a bear. It was a bear. So, and one of those wife and husband stories. So, go ahead.
So you're gonna have to come back when you find your flash drive.
Yes. Well, I know where it's at. It's at home. I left it. So, I'm working on a presentation. This was just, unfortunately, I left that there. And I had a lot more pictures to show. But I didn't know how much time I had either. So sometimes I gab too much and time's going away too. So, but yes, and I will come back. I really enjoyed this. And so, does anybody else have any questions?
Are you more of the ship kind of pictures, or do you do lighthouses?
Oh, I love lighthouses. I started out doing lighthouses and then ships. I love animals, eagles and snow owls, some deer sometimes. I really love landscape with, Great Lakes National Cemetery is really huge for me, because it's right out there. My father-in-law is buried out there. We do a lot of stuff out there. So I want to get into more barns and stuff like that. So it's just kind of a mixture of stuff, really, honestly, whatever. I got a tour of the church earlier and I took pictures because it was beautiful. And I'm not religious. The gentleman who did a wonderful job giving me the tour, yeah, he did a wonderful job. When he said, look at the ground, and I'm just picking this, it was just simply a joke because I don't want you to see what the light is. I thought he was charging it. I was like, I got a lightning bolt because I hadn't been to church in so long. I thought I was in trouble. I was like, I'm going to get hit by lightning. No, I don't mean that in a bad way, but it was just funny. It was just funny. I was like, last time I was in church was a medical and our lieutenant couldn't stop swearing, so it was bad. So Yeah, no, I love photography, and I have pictures in New York. I'll tell you one of the best pictures I ever took, and I'll show that the next time I'm here, is at the Brooklyn Bridge. You know, I've been so many places that Blue Bloods has been in, the show Blue Bloods. You ever watch it? You watched last night's episode when they're at the carnival or the carousel. I was there, took a picture. I mean, I told my mom loves Tom Selleck. She'd probably date him if she wasn't married. And I said, Tom Selleck sat here and sat there. And, you know, Aaron was at this restaurant, you know, so my mom's like, all right, I get the point. But the best picture was, there's a restaurant right there that they do eat at Blue Blood sometimes. And it's a rooftop restaurant, very expensive, but it was good. And you look at the lights coming on at sunset, and it was amazing. Just watching the sunset go to the city, then all the lights popping on with the World Trade Center, with the World Trade One right there. And so I love pictures like that. So it just matters on what I'm in the mood for, and I got to do more black and whites and, you know, still pictures and stuff like that too. So freighters just happens to be the theme. I love trains. I love cars. So I love pretty ladies. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Well,
Just kidding.
keep doing the variety because
Yes.
those were awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
The reflections, the sunrise, the sunset, the rainbows. It's like you hit all
Yep.
bases, buddy.
My favorite is, I'm going to be honest with you, I love the rainbows. I love the reflections. I mean, the minute I get a reflection, I'm cheering up a storm, you know. If you see me and it's like, yes, you know, I did something good. So, you know, I do that a lot on. I also cuss out Facebook, or not Facebook. I cuss out iPhone photographers sometimes. They always go, iPhone photographer in front of me. My wife's always shaking her head like, quit. I'm like, you're an iPhone photographer. I said, sometimes. But, so, any other questions?
Mike, do you have a website, Facebook page?
I have a Facebook page right now. Unfortunately, my daughter, look under Lindcap Photography. My website's built, but it's still under construction, and my daughter's doing it and trying to get her to be a little bit quicker. But and the book idea is in the process, and I'll let you know on that. Definitely a coffee table book is my idea, I was thinking. So, which through Amazon should be pretty easy, we'll see. So, there also might be something with the Union Depot too, the Holly Depot, we might do something there too, just to drum up some money. If you all get a chance to, look up Save the Holly Depot. It's an amazing depot there in Holly, it's been there since the 1800s. It needs to be saved. We call it saved, but we're going to be moving it. Just moving up about 1,000 feet, and it'll be on the Lake State side more. Just right now, we can't use it where it's at. So, another museum and artist area for people. So,
Are you familiar with the depot in Saginaw?
is it the one over here by the Lake State Rail? I've been by it. I've been by it, but I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah. They're trying to save the two, but I don't think they're making very good progress.
Yeah, we're kind of having a little fumble moment. We do have half of the money so far, I can tell you that. So, our depot's hopefully. The problem with our depot is it's on a really weird floor that we're not sure if we can lift it up. But ours is I'm sure Saginaw's got the same thing. It's an historical marker, so it has to be. We can't destroy it. It has to be saved. So, you know, because once they put it on that marker, it's there forever. So, unless something changes. So.
I can't think of the street. Anybody else think of that?
Potter Street.
Potter. Okay. I drove by really quick on a call the other day, but that was it. Going to Saginaw Hospital. So, thank you. Anybody else?
Were you taking pictures when the Niagara was grown?
The brig?
Niagara was the ship that went to Greer and Foundry River. They made 400 round trips a year, or opened the bridges 400 times a year.
Oh, really? No.
The Niagara. Everybody here knows the Niagara, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure. No, I wasn't.
Every time you went downtown, here comes the Niagara.
No, jeez. No. He asked if I knew about the Niagara, but I don't know if anybody else does. I'm not sure about that one. Any other questions? So, cool. Well, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you putting up with me, and I hope I was as entertaining as the last guy. No, but I hope you enjoyed my pictures. It really means a lot that you guys check it out. Be a fan on Facebook, Lindcap Photography on Facebook. Be a fan, cheer me on. I'm going to be part of this. I'm joining Saginaw River Historical. So thank you again, and appreciate everybody here too.